Let's make a new Visual Studio project. I'm currently working with Visual Studio 2015, but most of the versions previous to this and similar to this look pretty much the same. So I'm going to do File, New, Project, and I'm going to make a Visual Basic Windows, and it's a Windows Form application. I'm going to change the default name. Let's try example screen. Now I need to make sure I know where it's being saved at. Currently it's in the Visual Studio Projects folder, so I'm going to leave it there. Create a directory for the solution. Yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave it out of source control for now. So I'm going to click OK. Now, this is my Visual Studio, or my Visual Basic IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Now, I can change the settings to change how everything looks right now. Let me go with the default. I'm going to go to Reset Windows Layout. This is the default layout, and this is how it looks. I'm going to click the auto hide for now. So I can see, I'm going to make sure I've got the form clicked on, and over here on the right hand side I can see the properties, and the properties is what describes this. I'm going to call it an object. This form, I'm going to call it an object. So it describes the size, it describes the background color, it describes the font and style, and as you scroll through here you can see a lot of things that it will describe about this object. One of the things I'm going to do is that as I scroll through these I can see the list of properties for this object or organized in a certain way. I want to list these properties alphabetically, so I'm going to make sure I've got this clicked on, and when I do, you'll notice that these properties are now starting with A, B, C in alphabetical order, except the name, and that's the name of this object. Not the name that goes here, not the text that goes here, but it is the name of this object. And right now, it happens to be called Form 1. Now that's the default text that's up here, but don't get these two confused. I'm going to change the name of this to FRM for Form, and I'm going to call it First. Okay, press the Enter key. Now you notice the text did not change here. Let me go change the text. I'm going to go down here to Text, and here it has Form 1, and I'm going to change this to Example of VB. Okay, press the Enter key, and you notice it changes that. Okay, let me change the size of this. Let me see. Now it's in alphabetical order, so here's the size. I'm going to expand this, and I'm going to make the width 400 and make the height 350. Okay. Let's go change the font, and I want to change the font size. I'm going to click this little ellipse right here and change the font size eventually. Okay, so let's change it to 12 points. Click OK. Okay. Now, I made this a little bit bigger than what I can see right here. That's okay. Let me close this so we can see that. Okay, so the properties describe this object, so I've changed the size. I've changed the name. I've changed the text. What if I go change the background color? So let's go to find the background color, the back color, and I'm going to click my little drop down here, and I've got a bunch of choices. How about if I go with light gray? Okay. So where'd my toolbox go? Let's go up here to View and Toolbox. There it is. Okay. Now I can click Auto Hide and unpin this, but I'm going to go ahead and leave this Auto Hide selected, and let's go get a label. Drag it on here. And make sure I've got this selected, and let's go over to, now that I've got this selected, I can see that label 1 is a label. Okay. And let's see what we want to change. Let's change the text. Well, first let's go up here and change the name. The default name is label 1. That's not very descriptive. I'm going to call it LBL for label. And how about message? And let's go down here to text. And I'm going to change what it says on the text to this is a label. Press the Enter key, and this is a label. Okay, what else can we change? With the location, right now it's at 39 and 40. Let's change it to 180. So move it over on the x-axis, and the y-axis, let's make it 50. Okay. Do I need the, I can change the background color of this label if I want. And what if I make it stand out? Maroon? Ugh. Alright, we'll leave it at maroon. And I can change the font and other things. I'm going to go ahead and leave it like this for now. Okay, so I'm not limited to just adding a label object. If I wanted to, I can go grab another label object. I can double click, or I can drag it to where I want it and release. Now, same thing on this one. I can change the property of this. Let's give it a name of LBL information, and press the Enter key. Now let's go change the text. And I'm going to change it to something. Now you notice on the text I can add spaces, I can start off with numbers, I don't have to give it a legal variable name like I did up here. On the name of these objects, I don't want to start off with a number. I don't want to start off with a special character, although there are a couple that are allowed. And I certainly don't want to put any spaces in the name. So no spaces, no special characters to start off with. And that should do it for now. Okay, how about let's drag a picture. Where's our picture box? There's a picture box. Well, let's go ahead and add one of these. And on our picture box, I'm going to make our picture box a little bit bigger. See this little arrow right here? There's several ways you can reach this, but I'm going to click on this little arrow. So I'll click on the little arrow, and if I go choose an image. I'm going to click stretch image. You can play around with this and see which one you like best. I'm going to go track it down, so I'm going to import it. I'm going to go to import, and then I'm going to track down where I've got my image saved, and I've got my data files here somewhere. Chapter 1. Let's go get one of these. How about iguanas? And open that. And there we've got our iguana. I'm going to click OK. And there I've got my image of it. Now, a good thing to do is always to play around with this if you want to learn a little bit more about what each one of these does. But I'm pretty much finished with this. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm going to go to debug and start debugging and see if I can get my program to run okay. And no startup from, whoops, let me fix this. I'm going to go to project, example screen properties, click on that. Let's see, where is it? Oops, nope. It's not running, is it? No, it's not running. Okay, where was I? Example screen properties, startup form, here we go. And I changed the name of my form from form 1 to form first. So, need to do that. And let's see if that's it. Is that it? Okay, I'm going to click Save All. Now, let me try it again. Debug, start debugging, and there we go. All right, so it's working okay. Didn't put any coding in here yet, but the basics are still there. Okay, that's all for this intro. Well, okay, let me do this. Let's go track this down, zip it up, and upload it. Where are we? Projects. And what was the name of this project? Oh, great. What did I say it was? Example screen. Okay. Open this up. Okay. So that looks like that's it. Okay, let me go back. Example screen. I'm going to right click. Send to compress zip folder. There are other compression programs. After, I think, Visual Studio 2012, Microsoft bought a compression program for Windows, and so it comes with a compression program. But I'm going to right-click and rename this to okay. So I've got that zipped up, and now if I wanted to, what I can do is that I can upload that under Submit Assignments, and I would be done. And that will do it. All right.